Good morning, or afternoon, or evening. We are going to start in child's pose. If you want blocks for when you're in tabletop, have them. Let's see. Yeah, we'll be in tabletop some, but not an excessive amount. We don't really do anything too excessive in this particular practice. But if you want, start with your knees however you want. Maybe nice and wide so that you can kind of let your belly hang down and your ribs kind of rest in between thighs, or if you'd rather have a little more flexion in your spine, knees together and kind of rounding over the thighs. Do what you want to with your arms. Maybe start with them overhead, not in a super active way, but just start to wake up the shoulders, the front of the chest. However you have yourself situated, begin the process of allowing yourself to sink down and in. And you may find, even just after the first couple of breaths, a noticeable shift in how heavily you're actually resting into the mat. And paying attention to what the exhales specifically change about the way that you settle in. Imagining that the floor could just soak you up. Take 2 more breaths where you are. And make your way up into tabletop. Readjust where your knees wind up, bringing them underneath the hips. Bring your hands either to blocks or directly under the shoulders, or maybe just slightly in front to take that angle out of your wrists, if you like. And just start to rock left to right here. You're just kind of taking stock of how joints in knees, hips, shoulders, wrists, how that's all clocking today. Then kind of formulating a plan on how everything's reacting, how you will use it today. Every day is going to be a little bit different. Bring your thumbs to touch and step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. And at first, let your hips just sink down to the degree that is comfortable for you, but just exploring kind of the edge of that stretch. On your exhale, send your hips back, lift your toes, Maybe the leg goes straight. Maybe that's just a funny idea. And shift forward, and this time when you shift forward, don't shift so far forward that you're hanging out in that left front thigh, but that you're strong in the right leg. Leave your left hand down, either on the floor or on your block, send your right fingertips up to the sky. Flip your palm, slide the right hand behind the back, and then as soon as it gets there, lift it back up, unwind, and back into your lunge. Come back to your tabletop, walk your hands forward, roll yourself down, and do that really slowly. Start with the tops of the thighs, then hips, then belly, then low ribs, then chest. Leave your hands right where they landed. Roll your shoulders back, elbows pull toward one another. Inhale, lift your chest up. Squeeze your arms into your sides. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the chest. Keep lifting the chest. Press your way back up into tabletop. Walk your thumbs together. Step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. And then same deal. First, just let the hips sink down as much as they want to. And we notice, I do anyway, right away, a big difference in the front of my right thigh versus, or sort of right groin hip flexors versus left. That may be the case for you, it may not. You may be perfectly balanced. But just kind of noticing these little differences from side to side. Exhale, send hips back, lift toes up. Maybe the left leg comes straight, maybe it doesn't. Exhale, come back into your lunge, but a strong lunge where you're really pressing into the left heel to keep that left leg super engaged. Left arm reaches up, fingertips to the sky. Flip your palm, slide the left hand behind your back. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, come back down. Step back to your tabletop. And then again, that long, slow roll all the way down to your belly. As soon as you arrive, inhale, chest lifts, press into your arms, squeeze your elbows toward one another. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up, keep lifting. And back to your tabletop. Thumbs come together. Right foot steps forward. And kind of scooch it in, I don't know, closer to the center of your mat. You could have, you know what, let's start over again. Make your hands in a regular tabletop, shoulder width distance. Step your foot in between. Yep, let's do that. So we're nice and centered. Inhale, lift your arms up. Strong right heel here, pressing down and forward. Exhale, hands behind, interlace fingers, lift the chest. Reach the knuckles down toward the left heel. Inhale, reach fingertips up. Exhale, hands come down. Step back into your tabletop. I think you're probably starting to notice the pattern here. Roll down to your belly. This time when you inhale, lift the chest in the right leg. Exhale down. Chest and left leg. Exhale down. Press up into your tabletop. Step the left foot forward in between the thumbs. Press down, down, down into the left heel. Lift up. Arms up. Exhale, hands come behind. If you can remember which way you interlaced, do the opposite this time. Reach the knuckles down, lift the chest and the chin. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, hands frame the foot. Step back into your tabletop. Roll yourself down. Inhale, chest and left leg lift this time. Exhale down. Inhale, chest and right. Exhale. Inhale, press yourself up through your tabletop and all the way back into your child's pose. This time maybe leaving knees together. If you started in a wide leg child pose to begin with, maybe leave them together. If that's wickedly uncomfortable, or even just uncomfortable, it doesn't have to be wicked. Separate your knees. It doesn't have to be the widest knees in the world, but if it just doesn't feel good to your belly or your back or your hips or your knees to have them close together, give yourself a little bit of separation and see how that feels. Lift your chest up just a little bit, press into your hands. Walk over to the right side of your mat. Left hand rests on top of right hand. Exhale down. Really noticing that left side length from the left hip all the way to the left pinky. It might be a whole lot in the shoulder, underneath the shoulder blade, in the ribs. Maybe increases the compression in the hips if you have knees together, or even if you have knees apart. Inhale, lift up, walk to center, and then all the way over to the left. Right hand rests on top. Exhale, chest comes down. Keep your arms a little bit active here. Notice the difference. So let your elbows just kind of drop. And now activate your arms, straighten your arms a little bit and see what changes. It's not really a restful place to be when we have active arms, but it can be interesting. And come up into your tabletop. Let your knees separate to shoulder width if they were together. Bring your right hand into the center of the mat. Swing your left arm up, fingertips to the sky. On your exhale, sweep through and land on the shoulder. And for a second, often we bind that right arm. Give it a second here. Just breathe a couple times. Really letting yourself sink into the left shoulder. Maybe even spreading the left fingers wide and pressing the back of the left arm into the mat just to see what changes in the shoulder or in the back or in the chest. And then if you like, send the right hand up, find your bind. Unwind. Right hand comes back down where it was. Left hand sweeps up. Bring your left hand down. Right arm sweeps up. Exhale. Come to your shoulder. Stay here for a few breaths. Maybe the right hand spreads wide. Maybe find a little pressure in the back of the arm to explore what happens in the shoulder joint, underneath the shoulder blade, the compression in the right side of the chest. And send your left fingertips up. Find your bind. Unwind. Left hand comes down. Right arm sweeps up. And exhale into your tabletop. Come into cat-cow. Oh. And we didn't do any of this beforehand, so being curious about what that feels like after those cobras and after the child's poses without having moved in this way, without giving your spine a little introduction first, but doing it on the back side. Seeing how that feels and what your preference is. Do you prefer a little warm up, a little heads up about what's gonna go on? Come back into your neutral. Come to seated. Bring your heels into the corners of the mat. Press your heels down into the mat, anchoring them down. Send your hands forward. Keep your hands reaching forward as you start to tuck your tail, round the spine. The whole sacrum is going to go together. Then you get to this place where you can start to individualize each little guy and see if you can roll down one at a time. And as soon as the back of your head lands, be still. Slide your heels in toward your seat. Slide your hips to the right. Pull your knees toward your chest. And find your twist. And you all know which twists you like. So if there's one that you think of today that seems like a better idea for you and your body, do that. Plant your feet, roll to your back, slide your hips into the center and off to the left. Knees up and twist to the right. Plant your feet, roll to your back. Slide your hips into center, realign your spine, pull your knees into your chest. Maybe roll ankles. Maybe a little happy baby. Then send your legs out long, arms out long, palms up, eyes closed. Settle in. And just like we did at the beginning of our practice, really allowing yourself to settle in Like if you're relaxed enough, you can just melt right into the floor. And even though this time is finite, we can behave in a way that we have forever. Let's just pretend we have forever. As much time as we want to lay here. And as soon as we take that little time restriction away from our brain, maybe we're able to sink in a little bit more. We have all the time in the world. Just to be and to breathe. Do yoga with no goal, but to be in the moment. This breath, this stretch, this wave of emotion rolling in. Watch it crest and break, then dissipate. Yoga is a threshold into mystery, each pose an open doorway and an invitation to unfold. Sensations rise and fall, and through it all, the deathless center radiates the simple truth of union. So allow yourself a couple more breaths. Still luxuriating in this endless amount of time we've given ourselves for Shavasana. And then as we start to bring movement into fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, seeing what it would be like to hang on to that feeling that we do have all the time in the world for anything that we have in the rest of our day. Can we approach it that way and see what kind of space opens up? And rolling to your side when you're ready. And making your way to seated. And bringing hands to heart center. Find an inhale breath. And let it go. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thanks.